podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Bossy, grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And I'm outside again today. I actually decided I was so incredibly bored that I left the house and took a walk by myself. And I took my rucking backpack and walked a mile and a half. That is money. So I'm kind of excited. My back is killing me. But I feel like that's the only way it's going to get stronger is if I just keep building it. That's the reason, half the reason for the rucking backpack. So, it was beautiful. And now I'm just sitting at a playground on a park bench and I can hear the birds all around me. And that's all I can hear are birds. And that's what the topic is, not birds. The topic is easy does it. So, that's what we were talking about this morning in my morning meeting. And I thought, well, that's kind of what we were talking about yesterday. And I just love how things flow from one day to the next. And I've shared this before about how it is my dog trainers that actually taught me how to slow down. When I was trying to train Autumn, in particularly Autumn, because she's a maniac. So it was like I was trying to get her to do the tricks as quickly as possible. Like what I shared this morning in my meeting was I tried to get her to slow down as fast as possible. And that's, that's the epitome of the way that I have lived up until really I trained my dogs, not until I got sober, till I trained my dogs. I learned that from dog training, and I should do a whole podcast episode on dog training and what I learned. But it's like every little movement mattered. How I held the leash mattered. How I relaxed my shoulders mattered. I realized after they told me over and over again, like, relax your shoulders, let your arms hang. Like I was constantly gripping, I was holding on for dear life. And that's exactly what I do in everything. Um, everything, and I notice it now that my trainers taught me that. I notice like when I'm beating eggs, for example, I'm not just moving my wrist, You know how like bakers and chefs they like have like a way with their hands where they're like beating the eggs and they can move their hand like really fast. It's because it's loose. And for me, when I'm beating an egg, my whole freaking shoulder is beating the egg. And so this idea about easy does it really applies across the board for me. Even when I was just taking my walk, I have this weighted backpack on me, and I'm telling myself the entire time I'm walking, relax your shoulders, because what I want from talking to my physical therapist that's helping me with my back pain is I want to work the my mid back. I don't want to hold my shoulders up to my ears, and is if I do that, I'm straining my neck and my shoulders, and I'm taking some of that work away from my back. So I learned a little bit about that in the couple years that I was religiously doing yoga. And it was a lot of that, like holding the pose and making sure that I'm not pulling my shoulders up to my ears, because it's so natural for me to tighten up everything. And so, dog training, medical retirement, sobriety, all of it keeps echoing to me, relax, relax. And at moments like this, sat down on lunch, and before I even had a chance to exhale, I hit record. I didn't sit down and savor the sound of all the birds. And since I've been talking, the birds have kind of quieted down. They're listening. So enjoying the moment. I mean, I am enjoying the moment. Um, I can hear them. It's really beautiful, honestly. I recommend after work or before work, like or at lunchtime, go outside and just like get quiet and listen for one bird and see what it has to say. We were talking this morning about being impatient, and I feel that so much in my life. I feel like um, pressure to get everything done as fast as possible, and to catch up, right? I'm always catching up, but who am I catching up to? What are the standards, right? Yesterday I was talking about standards and holding myself to these impossible standards. Um, and really, I am talking the past few days about learning how to stand still and just gaze, learning to just stand still and listen. And one way that I have learned how to slow down a little bit is to have routines. So I had my routine when I was working, but my routine was maximizing time. And for those of you who are out there and you're working, you know what I mean when you're like, I'm going to get up as late as possible, but make sure I get everything done that needs to get done. And if that means I'm putting my makeup on at the red lights on the way to work, then that's what I'm going to do. Um, and that for me was a realistic goal that I could get to work in, you know, in it by getting up an hour and a half ahead of time. I have an hour and 15-minute drive. All I have to do is take my shower before I go to bed, get up, get dressed, brush my teeth, brush my hair, have in a freaking bun, and then bring everything else with me because I had like an hour and five. So, yeah, I would squeeze it all in. It was a realistic goal. My realistic goal included speed. It was quantity of fitting as much in as possible in a certain period of time, but it was doing it at a certain rate. And this morning I heard talking about their to-do list became like a dictatorship, like they were a victim of their lists. And what I was hearing about this morning as my thighs burn on this bench, um, what I was hearing about this morning was taking a little break between each task to check in with how am I feeling. So I think one reason I sat down and I hit record right away before I stopped to like check in with myself and listen to the birds and stuff was because I didn't want to face the fact that I probably shouldn't be recording right now, that I should be going home in the day, getting some water, taking a break, and then recording. So the reason why I talk about these things and yet I don't follow my own advice is because I'm human and I'm trying to be, what's the word? I can't think of the word because somebody's walking over here. Um, Accountable, that's the word, accountable for what it is that I'm sharing. Like if I talk about the fact that this is what I need to do and this is what I did when I sat down, then maybe next time before I sit down and hit record, that I will think twice about it. Maybe. We'll see. you know, if I'm being honest. But I think that uh, I have written down here ego, and I'm wondering how ego plays in with easy does it. I think it's the same as yesterday. It's like I don't want, if I slow down, to make it seem like I'm procrastinating or I'm being lazy. Easy does it is not giving myself permission to not do the next right thing. I think that's what I was talking about this morning. I was like, what is the difference between, let's see, how did I say it? What's the difference between doing the next right thing and easy does it? It's hard to it's hard to figure out where that line is, where slowing down to the speed of joy, like the name of that book I haven't read, but I like the name of the book, where slowing down to the speed of joy is, because I enjoy being really busy. I enjoy being very active. So I struggle, and I think that's what this episode is about and what this whole podcast really is about. It's about um, owning up to the fact that this is who I've always been, and this is what I'm up against with a disability, um, with stroke recovery, trying to figure out how to slow down. Um, I have my creativity and vestibular recovery support group going on tomorrow at 3 o'clock. If you're interested in going, send me an email and at rachel@recoverydailypodcast.com and I will send you the deets. But that's what creativity it has allowed me to do. It has allowed me to slow down. Because otherwise I feel like I have to move my body in order to be doing something. Just like I was so freaking bored. So I went out to take a walk because I felt like I had to move my body. And I thought to myself, just being honest here, I'm going to walk this distance no matter how I feel, and I'm going to ruck it no matter how I feel. And I set myself up so that I was, let's see, about 3/4 of a mile away from my house at the furthest distance. So the only way back was 3/4 of a mile. And so I would have had to go a mile and a half for my walk. And what I did was I practiced looking into the distance. I realized that if I'm looking from side to side, if I'm typically when we go outside because we want to look at the trees. I mean, for me, I want to look at the sky and I want to look at the trees and I want to breathe in the fresh air and I want to look at the shadows. And I've been painting and sketching, and that's allowed me to really be able to see things even more with even more depth. But when I go out and walk, what I have to do is wear my hat to block the sky, wear my sunglasses to block the light. I have these leather blockers to block my peripherals so I can't see anything on the sides. So I have to make sure that I'm just looking straight ahead. And I noticed of the few times that I tried to look down or look around, like that's when I got dizzy. So as long as I kept looking forward, I could do it and it was fine. And the only way I could figure that out is if I put myself in that position. So right or wrong, that's what I did. And I feel successful that I was able to walk that far at a pretty good rate. And I brought the rucking backpack. And I didn't bring Autumn this time because it was too hot for her. So, I started feeling before I left the house like I don't wanna. I don't want to. And so all the things that I said I didn't want to do yesterday, I did today, whether I wanted to or not. And that's what I'm trying to circle back around to, is that knowing that line between when I don't want to do something and when the next right thing is. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, if you have tips for that, I'd love to hear them, because it's hard to know. It was easier for me to know. I think it was easier for me to know in sobriety what the next right thing was. Because the what I wanted to do was correlated with things that were unhealthy for me. And now I have to decipher between what used to be healthy for me and what is pushing my physical limitations. So I'm figuring it out. We got some folks arriving to the playground that I'm on. So I'm probably going to get out of here. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.